Namaste and hello. This is your Sanskrit instructor welcoming you back into video number 103, assignment number 26. Please send this assignment to mdg.sanskrit@gmail.com for credit towards the online course and for feedback. All submissions must be legibly handwritten and scanned as a PDF or sent as a picture. Your task is to use the information from the table below to conjugate the verbs in the third person singular forms under the present and the imperfect tense. So you have a table here, and I will describe each of the columns to you. So the first column has the verbal root. The second column has the translation of that root. The third column is going to give you the voice. So whether this is active or middle voice, or in other words, Atmanepada or Parasmaipada. Atmanepadi or Parasmaipadi. Then the conjugation number, whether this is the first conjugation, the sixth, the 10th, okay, the fourth conjugation, the eighth, it will tell you what conjugation to put it in. So you should be able to use the voice and the conjugation number along with the root provided to you so that you can get the right conjugation for the third person singular. So you can get the verbal base, and then you'll add your termination ending for the present tense, and then you'll add your termination ending for the imperfect tense. Remember, you have to be mindful about the sandhis that may apply to the imperfect tense, and you also need to keep in mind that comes before and after your new verbal base when you have the imperfect tense. So this is good practice for you so that you can know how to, number one, form your verbal bases for all of the conjugations that we learned so far. It's always good to practice that. Then number two, to be able to form your verbal base for the imperfect tense. And then three, to differentiate the difference between the imperfect tense and your present tense. So there's a lot going on here, and that's why this type of assignment is being given to you. So I have a few examples. So the ones that I did not fill into the table under present tense, for these verbs, I think that you're more than capable of doing them on your own. The rest, they're probably irregular verbs, and that's why I provided them to you. So gachati, gum, that was an irregular verb, so I just gave that to you, even though you were exposed to the word to go before, gum. But upagam means to approach, but I gave it to you anyway, as an example as well. So upagam is to approach, and you know that this is in the active voice in Parasmaipada, so you know which conjugation table to use. Here you're going to use ti, taha, and anti. So third person singular, you're going to do ti. I already gave you the verbal base for this, so this is upagachati. Now for the imperfect tense, it becomes upagachat, because you're adding, remember, this is a verb that is preceded by a preposition. So you have to put the in between the preposition and your verbal base. So opa, a plus a plus a plus a gives you long a. So you end up with upagachat. And remember, your termination ending is going to be different here since it is parasmaipada. Your ending is going to be the ta with the halant. So upagachat. Another example, well, this was another irregular verb, and this is the eighth conjugation, so I just gave it to you. Present tense is karoti, and then imperfect tense is akarot. Now I have the meaning here so that I can know that in present tense, if I want to say karoti, that means he does. And imperfect tense, I have akarot, he did, so that I can know the difference between the translations. Now I put it there, I put the translation there, even though the column itself says present tense and past tense, or in other words, imperfect tense. But that is your educational decision to make, whether it will help you have the translation there. Remember, these assignments are here for your learning experience. So let's go over all of the verbal roots. So, kri means to do or to make. That's in the eighth conjugation, active voice. Then we have vivad, to disagree, middle voice, first conjugation. We have vrat, to exist, middle voice, first conjugation. Vrit actually is to exist. And then nivrit is to desist from. And that is middle voice, first conjugation. Upagam, to approach, active, first conjugation. Then we have visad, to be sad, active voice, first conjugation. Then we have adhistha, which is active voice, first conjugation. Parini, to marry, active voice, first conjugation. Abhini vish, to resort to, governed by the accusative case, active voice, sixth conjugation. Then we have adri, to respect, middle voice, sixth conjugation. Bhash, to speak, middle voice, first conjugation. Arab, to begin, middle voice, first conjugation. And lab, to obtain, middle voice, first conjugation. Other conjugations that I've given to you guys was to be sad. So if you scroll, to be sad was visad. And then visad in the present tense became vishidati. So that is that conjugation. So now that you have the present tense conjugation, you should be able to get that in the imperfect, because I basically gave you the verbal base by telling you what it is in third person singular. Same thing for the verb adhistha, which means to live in. I gave you the conjugation for the present tense for third person singular, and that is adhitishtati. So you should be able to conjugate that in the imperfect tense on your own, third person singular. And then one more that I gave to you in the sixth conjugation was adri, to respect. And I have adriyate. So that was the middle voice, sixth conjugation. So by giving this to you, you should be able to figure out what it is in the imperfect tense. So not to forget what your columns look like. I'm going to scroll up and down. I know this is a very big table. I know it's a very big table. And I will zoom out in it for you guys to see the whole thing. Make sure you have a clear submission of this table. You can type the table and then write in your answers in Sanskrit. That's completely fine with me. And then you can take a picture or scan it as a PDF file. Now, things to keep in mind, again, so I'm going to write this as information for you. Keep in mind, vowel sandhis, adding the augment for the imperfect tense. And you need to do the vowel sandhi for the imperfect tense. Oh, and there's one more thing that I want to go over. So this verb to marry, parini, this is actually a special verb. Pay attention to what the na is going to turn into by the time you're ready to conjugate it. So that's it for your assignment, and this is your Sanskrit instructor signing off with a namaste.